This video is a guide for you to make your job search in Finland easier. In this video, I will talk about the Finnish job market in general, the kind of activities that you could get involved in to secure your first job in Finland, some tangible, practical and hands-on tips to get you started, what to expect when you land a job interview, and the kind of efforts that I had put in while I was preparing for my job search in Finland. You may or may not have the similar journey, but I hope this helps you somewhere in your job search in Finland and other European countries. So welcome to my channel, Trav Explore Finland. Before I start this video, let me tell you that I am not from a recruitment background, and the views and the information that I present in this video are based on my personal experience from my own job search in Finland. I do not represent the views of any company, any group, and I do not represent the views of the company that I work with. With this video, I cannot guarantee you a job, but what I can assure you is that if you follow these guidelines, along with the good preparation of your technical and functional skills, and of course your dedication and persistence, then this is definitely going to take you a few steps closer to your first dream job in Finland. तो सबसे पहले बात करते हैं फिनिश जॉब मार्केट के बारे में, और यहाँ मैं बात कर रही हूँ स्किल्ड non-IT corporate jobs के बारे में. So the Finnish job market is very different from other locations because of the requirement of Finnish language in all the customer-facing roles. But even when you are not expected to be facing customer in your future role, then you might have a lot of Finns in your future team, due to which they might think that communication and collaboration would be much easier if the new person also has some Finnish skills. The Finnish job market is unique also because most of the job requirements are never made public. Most of the recruiters and hiring managers rely on word of mouth, and they value referrals from the people they know. But let me tell you, there is practically no requirement of Finnish skills in IT-related jobs. I have heard many people say that it is relatively easier to find IT-related programmer or technical or developer profile jobs over here as compared to management or operations or finance-related jobs. Okay, so what about job opportunities here, about supply and demand? There are many companies who say that they are not able to find good candidates here. They're looking for some specific skills or blended profile which they are not able to source locally. Now there is a question of how there could be a bridge between this gap, because there already is a good pool of talented, skilled and experienced professionals based in Finland who are waiting to get employed. People living inside are already struggling for skilled and unskilled jobs. Any kind of job which requires customer interaction will need a candidate who is fluent in Finnish. But if you're a foreigner, then it's very difficult for you to compete with a native over here. First of all, native Finnish speakers would not require visa sponsorship, unlike a foreigner would. Then wouldn't they rather prefer a candidate who is already based in Finland and who has Finnish skills, and rather saves them on relocation costs? बट ऐसा नहीं है कि यहाँ पर सिर्फ वही जॉब रिक्वायरमेंट्स होती हैं जिसमें फिनिश चाहिए होती है. बहुत सारी इंग्लिश बेस्ड जॉब्स भी यहाँ पर होती हैं, particularly those kind of jobs in which they have global teams, and now gradually many companies are opening up with this requirement. If the job description itself is in Finnish, then you can understand that they definitely need Finnish skills, but if the job description is in English, then there is some hope. If you've been a leader or manager in your previous profiles, then it's good, but please don't come to Finland with those extra baggages. Don't have such high expectations that you will land a similar level role over here. This is particularly because most of the companies over here in Finland have flat structures. So if you are the person who doesn't hesitate to do a hands-on role, and if you are the person who's passionate about what you do, then you are the kind of person whose talent and experience will be valued over here, whose skills will be appreciated over here. Now let's talk about CV and cover letter. It goes without saying that your CV and cover letter should be up to date, short, to the point, and free of any grammatical mistakes. Now this is something very basic, but we often tend to overlook it. Cover letter is as important as CV because the recruiters look at cover letter even before looking at your CV. When I used to apply for jobs in India, I hardly ever used cover letter. But here in Finland and other European countries, I would say, cover letter is an important document which should have what your CV doesn't have. So what are we talking about here? Now your cover letter should contain information about your present situation, that is whether you are legally authorized to work in Finland or not, about your eligibility to apply for this job, about the kind of impact that you believe that you can create, then the kind of roles that you are looking for and how flexible you are about doing, say, a specialist kind of a role or about changing the industry. Also about your motivation to apply for this job. So basically, your cover letter should contain anything that your CV doesn't have, and make sure that it's not too personal and it is short and to the point. But make sure it has all the information that the recruiters are looking for. Prepare well for technical interviews. Recap all the projects that you have done, the kind of challenges you have faced, how you overcame them, what kind of support you provided, what was your contribution, and how did it benefit the team. During the interviews, I have noticed that recruiters and hiring managers over here have a positive mindset when they take the interviews, which means that they take the interviews to select a candidate to find something positive rather than to find some faults. And they're also open about a candidate coming from a different industry. While applying for jobs in Finland, you will most probably face behavioral interviews as well. So try to think of some difficult situations you might have faced, some kind of conflicting situation with your colleagues, with your superiors, or some kind of situations in which you had to convince your stakeholders for a buying idea that you had, and then some kind of difficult situation in which you had to go out of the way to meet your team's target. So these are some of the examples that I'm telling you. Of course, behavioral interviews means much more than this. Many companies can also take you through game-based assessments. I had taken part in many such assessments in which I had to plan a game strategy based on some situations which were presented. So in other words, I had to ensure that I had planned my game strategy in such a way that I was following all the game rules. Assessment tests like logical, analytical, and reasoning ability tests are also very common when you apply for jobs over here. Apart from that, there could also be one English-based verbal comprehension test, which can try to check your basic understanding of English language and also your English vocabulary. There was also one test in which I was given a situation that a colleague has suddenly gone on leave, and I am the person who was supposed to cover up for that person during that time. And there were a list of emails that I was supposed to respond to within a stipulated time based on the information that I was given in the form of organization chart or event schedule or product information, features and all, and things like that. So the intent of this test was to find out how well I could grasp the information that was available and how well I could respond to the emails and how quick I am at that. A little unusual test, to be honest, but nothing comes easy. There's struggle everywhere. Well, having said all of this, I totally understand that the job search process in itself can be very exhausting. But if you have been able to land a job interview at least, then congratulations, you have won half the battle already. I will connect with you in my next vlog, and I will continue talking about the job search process in my next video, which is part 2 of how to find a job in Finland. Meanwhile, if you have any specific questions or any guidance that you're looking forward to, then please follow my Instagram page, Travexplore Finland, and connect with me through Messenger. And also please consider subscribing if not yet already done. I'll see you in another vlog.